All right, morning, folks. Build the Astro-Prospector. Well, that was a bust. So, I was gonna knock that out of there. Um, so last night, well, yesterday during the day, in the early evening, I dry run everything with the Star Adventurer Pro and the Celestron Maxitov telescope, the little imager. Just did a bunch of test runs, just pointing at the mountains and oh yeah. And of course, on the floor, it's got wooden floors. It's an old house. It shook quite a bit, and I was like, it'll probably go away when I take it outside and get it all ready to go. Well, that wasn't the case. Oh, man. So, uh, yeah, kind of a bust. So, I think, I'm not sure yet. I'm going to let my wife make the call. She kind of nodded her head. Uh, I think I'm going to stop playing with it and at least try to get half the money that I spent on that thing back. Anyway, and it wasn't even that windy. Um, and like the house was blocking, I mean, yeah, it was, I don't want to say it was a disaster, but at least got me out, got me outside, and I was moving and everything. Um, this cold weather always makes my freaking gout start acting up, where I walk like a peg leg and it hurts like all get out. But yesterday it was Sunday, and I was like, I'm gonna figure this out, because I got a longer cord, a USB to mini B, um, so so everything isn't like just where you're gonna trip over the or kick the tripod leg while operating the laptop, and that I don't know if it was a cord. I think it might be the laptop getting ready to just give up the ghost. We took some programs out of it that kept overlapping this OneDrive thing. It's like the cloud, and yeah, it did the nuclear photo bomb on all our equipment, all our electronics, about 4 or 5 years ago. For some reason, it just started downloading all the photos that was stored on it. That you know, I mean, the kids' graduations, band practice, band, the chorus, oh man, everything, uh, the football games, just everything. Um, it even had, oh man, it even had a whole, like, I forget what my wife took. She took about, I don't know, 2,000 pictures, maybe more, but about 2,000 shots at some friend's wedding. Um, they, uh, they had this professional, he charged him a lot of money. This was the second time. And on some other friends, they're now divorced, but that has nothing to do with it. But anyway, anyway, before I go down that road to Cincinnati last night, it wasn't the bust. I mean, it wasn't, like I said, it got me outside. It got me, all right, got me back in the groove. Okay, Polaris, all right. Dink, dink. Okay, start going. And I was watching and I was like, wow, it's all right. I just, oh, that looks really good. And all of a sudden it was blurry again. And I was like, well, what's going on here? I know that little Maxitov does not come out of focus. And I was like, wow, what's going on here? Because it's fairly dark, and I was like, it's like, oh man, all right, and then it was back into focus. And I was like, what is going on here? So I I came in the house. I just let it run, run its sequence. Like I don't know, 500 frames or something. And I came in the house and I got my big flashlight. I ain't gonna mess around. I don't care right now. I'm like, this is just experiment, just to see if this is gonna work for a small, unit. And my wife says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I think it's even shaking out there. I'm not sure, but maybe it's the computer. I don't know, but I'm going to see." And I started looking, and it was running good. And I said, "Okay, click, set another sequence, take about another 500 frames or whatever it was." And I'm watching, and now it's so I shine the light on it, and I see it just. So I walk where it's at, and I stand, and I'm like, trying to like feel if there's wind enough. I mean, the thing's only like 30 inches at the top. It's probably 36 inches off the ground from the top of the telescope, the objective lens. So it's not way up in the air where it's catching. I figure, there's a bank of trees there. There's a bank of trees over there. And I'm thinking, the winds will be high, if there is any, but the trees aren't moving or anything. And I'm like, so I look and I'm like, what is happening here? So I look again and I'm watching the screen and I'm like, is that moving? Look back, I look at the screen and it's like back in focus. And I was like, I don't understand what's happening here. Because the first time when I looked at with the flashlight, it looked, but I thought, it's just my eyes getting used to it. But I'm thinking, either this 100-year-old camera, it's not 100 years old. It's that Next Image 5, so it's about 8 or 10 years old. Either that or the Lenovo laptop, because it's even older and it's been through a lot. My daughter had it and crashed it, and then I had it fixed, and let me use it again, okay, and then now there's 5 bazillion Candy Land or whatever, games on it, and it's all corrupted. So anyway, so now I'm like, okay. So I go around the other side and I'm just kind of like standing and I'm looking at the screen and I'm got the light on the side of the mount in the scope. And I'm thinking, because it's black, it's night, that reflection from the flashlight is going to show any kind of shimmer. And sure enough, there it goes. And I'm watching the screen and I'm watching it go almost like it starts like it's a heat wave, like if you start recording real early. I mean, when the sun just goes down and it's dark, you'll see a lot of heat waves. Or if you're like shooting during the day, long distance, you'll see a lot of heat waves. And I'm thinking, it's just the heat waves, And then I look and I can see the scope I mean, it's just barely moving. And I'm like, God dang, what am I going to do? Mount this thing on the ground, kind of thing. And I was like, you know what? Okay, this is just an experiment. Don't get your boxers in a bunch. And I just turned everything down, unplugged everything, bring it in the house. And my wife's like, oh, I'm like, oh, we thought it was the floor, because it was the floor. I said, but even sitting out there on solid ground. She's like, what? I go, and I said, look at this. And she's watching. She's like, well, it's changing focus? Didn't we have that problem with that telescope? I said, no, babe, it's moving. She's like, I said, look, see how it starts? It looks like it's, the heat wave. She goes, what was that? I said, no, now watch. And it just, it starts with like just a little shimmy, and then it goes. And then the mount, and I know where it's from now. I've checked it out. I've had it for a few years now. And I know it's not for anything very heavy. And even though it says it'll handle 11 pounds, I seen a bunch of guys do some really phenomenal work. And maybe I'm just rusty or something, because I haven't done anything in what, almost 2 years now. Um, very little um, astrophotography or imaging. Um, and yeah, because it'll do like this, like it'll shake to the side, but then all of a sudden the scope will kind of bounce up and down. When it's almost done with the side to side shimmy, it'll do a little bounce, like, and that's when you notice it. The side to side kind of almost looks like it's heat waves because it's real minute, but it's messing the images up, even though it's taken, whatever it is, uh, 20, 27 a minute or something like that. I forget what I had it set at, even though short-term memory's going. Young man, eat eat proper, get that brain food, because when you get to your 70s, you're going to forget to put your shoes on. I'm just speaking from experience. Uh, anyway, I call it old timers, not Alzheimer's. I call it old timers. Um, but yeah, it's kind of a bust. Thanks for watching. This is Bill the Astro-Prospector. Clear skies and just have fun. Don't let it get to you. It's all fun and games.